Hello, everyone, and welcome to session two, panel two of Newfound Market Missions. It's our final session for the program, and we're really looking forward to having 10 companies present and get some sage advice from the panel. Just also as a reminder, once we've gone through the 10 companies, we're going to ask for a little bit of feedback online, and then we'll wrap for the day. So we should be finished by about 12:15 BST, and then you can all head off to lunch or whatever you're planning to do. I think this group of companies, they're ranging from India, South Africa, across obviously EU as well. So they're in a friendlier time zone. Our last session were mostly from Australia and New Zealand, and some were heading off to bed. So anyway, let's crack on, I'll ask Jeremy to take over from now. But once again, we'll look forward to the companies and your pitch. Thanks very much.
Excellent. Thanks, Peter. Yeah, really looking forward to this. We've got 10 companies pitching from around the world, in fact, from 7 different countries. So a great lineup. And these are companies that are tackling different issues, whether it's regarding enterprise banking, SME banking, or consumer banking. So you're in for a real treat as we explore the different horizons of financial services. Peter, why don't you jump back on? I've got a couple of questions for you just about the program and the journey that these guys have been on, because it has been quite a phenomenal couple of weeks they've been on. But why don't you give us a little bit of background in terms of what they've been up to over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's good question, Jeremy. And I mean, certainly it's been a very much a learning process for us as an organization. You know, we've certainly taken away a lot of lessons around the design of a program and delivery of a program. There's things we'll do differently. But I think the main takeaway is the feedback I've had from the companies, and how much many of them have learned a lot about the UK, made new connections, and of course are thinking about market entry in a different way. So I think we've got a good offering, but obviously looking to improve next time around. And ultimately, the companies themselves have got some big decisions to make in the near future.
Brilliant. And advice for the startups today?
Well, I think it's just do your pitch, do it well, and listen to the advice. I mean, the panelists, in fact, I've known them all for quite a few years, and regard them as good friends. But they are deeply entrenched within the ecosystem. They know their stuff. They've got lots and lots of experience. So they're good people to listen from, to hear from. But I think once again, this is about the next step in the journey. This is not the end of the program; it's the beginning of the next phase. So just keep listening.
Absolutely. And for those people on the panel and in the audience today, what's your advice or request to them?
Well, certainly we do have an audience that are tuning in, various investors, advisors, and potential partners. If you're interested in any of the companies, there will be a link shared on chat by one of the team in a few moments. And then you can obviously put in a specific request to be introduced to the company, which of course will accommodate. So we're hoping a bit of deal flow happens from today, whether it's from investors or potential companies that wish to buy your product. So that's the intention here, and looking forward to seeing the results, not just in the short term, but long term as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thanks, Peter. Let me jump in there with giving just a bit of context for today and the journey that we're going to be going on. But for the companies that are present, we talked last Thursday about pitching, and we talked about how this is basically your shop window into each of the companies that are presenting. This is your chance to showcase yourself and to attract people into your store. We talked about it as being your place to state your intentions and to put through your asks. And you'll see each of the companies presenting today with different asks. And we do request for the panel and the audience, if you can also help to open up your black book, like Peter said, and make those connections as well. And then finally, this is your chance to enlist fans. There's some fantastic companies that are presenting today, and some great opportunities. And they could be very tangible investment opportunities. They could be partnership opportunities, but they could just be opportunities to build the network and find people to help recommend you into their network as well. And that's equally as important for this today. So in terms of the way this is going to work, we've got our panelists, as Peter mentioned, and I'll get our panelists to give a quick introduction to themselves. In fact, Alexandra, Francois, and Kerry, if you want to share your cameras. And then Alexandra, do you want to kick off with giving a short introduction? Well, let's go back to front. Let's start with
Yeah,
Kerry. I think Kerry's ready to go.
I can't start my video. I can't start my video because somebody has to start. Anyway, hi, I'm Alexander Massard. I'm half Swiss, half French, live in the UK now for a long time. And I used to work for Visa, for the credit card company in San Francisco, where I headed new products, mainly in the US and in Africa and in Latin America. And then I ended up my last like 3 years there in the venture capital business. Thereafter, I moved to London, where I did the same, and I'm now an active angel investor, and I'm also raising a fund in the current moment.
Excellent, excellent. Kerry, why don't you go next?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Kerry Ritz. I'm originally Canadian, but I've been in the UK and in Europe now more than 30 years. I've got a broad commercial background, everything from consumer goods to retail to consulting in emerging markets, and a broad-based technology background over the last 15 years. I've been involved in Fintech world for the last 10 years. I'm currently entrepreneur in residence at the Barclays Techstars program. I sit on a bunch of boards as a non-exec director. I advise a number of early stage companies. I help make connections across the ecosystem, and also an angel investor.
Great. And Francois, finish this off.
Hi, I'm the French guy. It seems that there's an awful lot of international people in London. I've also been in London for 30 years. I have two small businesses. One is South London's #1 tech workspace. We welcome companies setting up in the UK and help them with funding, staffing, and commercial growth. Second business is fundraising bootcamp. We teach CEOs how to actually prepare themselves, document, and then process a fundraising process. There's a huge amount of competition here in London, and therefore most companies fail at the first hurdles, and we try and help them through accelerating the process. I'm a tech guy. I've been in 8 technology companies. I've done a startup to IPO on the NASDAQ. I've had the bankruptcy. I've had pretty much every single case of the good, the bad, and the ugly of building and exiting a tech business.
Okay, there we go. Well, what a huge number of perspectives from 3 people. We've got investors, we've got corporate perspectives, we've got advisors, founders, and a co-working space there as well. So huge thank you to our panel for joining us. You're going to get some great advice, I'm sure, as we go through this. In terms of the format, the way this is going to work is we've got 10 companies. Each is going to give a 3-minute pitch. We'll give you a 30-second warning in chat. And if you can keep to the 3 minutes, that will make sure that we get decent time for feedback at the end of that. And another thing that we're going to be doing to help make sure we run to time is each of you have got 6 slides, and we're going to be rotating them 30 seconds a slide. So it's a bit like a forced rotation, if you like, here. And then we'll hopefully have 5 minutes for Q&A, but I'll make sure that we manage that within 8 minutes total. And we'll have a hard stop at 8 minutes, just to make sure we get through all 10 companies before 12. Finally, the thing we would love all of our audience members to do is to identify the companies you would like to meet. And you can do that through taking the link that we're dropping in chat now. And if you take that link, just drop in your name and email. And then as we go through this, you can click on the companies that you would like to meet. And then the team from Newfound will make those connections right after this to make sure that we move from inspiration into impact, which is what today is all about, helping these companies explore how they can move and grow in the UK. So without any further ado, we're going to jump straight into our first company. And we're kicking off this session with an AI platform that's designed to supercharge exec level decision making. So from Epiphany, please welcome Anthony. Anthony, over to you.
Good morning. Thanks very much. So to get to the heart of what Epiphany can do, I'd like to share the experience of one of our customers, Louise, who's an Asia Pacific MD of a large firm with offices in 6 countries. Like any MD, it was hard for her to get real-time feedback on the strategy they were trying to deploy, and staff engagement wasn't great. The company had missed its targets for a couple of years, and getting to the root cause of why it proved really difficult even after they'd employed a consulting firm that ran the traditional surveys, interviews, focus groups over a 6-week period at great expense. So rather than continue with the traditional consulting methods, Louise decided to use Epiphany, us. Invites were sent out to 40 leaders and managers from the 6 regions on Wednesday. Each participant spent about 30 minutes being interviewed by Epiphany. They were asked questions based on their responses, so they each had a unique experience. And once Epiphany had enough information, each person received their individual report, which was essentially their 360 on the business. Now, by Friday, less than 72 hours later, an aggregate report had been produced, and the leadership had the root cause of their problems identified and a roadmap set out for them. They could also see where people were misaligned, could take steps to ensure everyone was on the same page. The leadership then set about readjusting the strategy and focused on the priorities identified by Epiphany. And they worked religiously on this for 2 consecutive quarters, then undertook a second round of Epiphany and saw an increase across the board, what was even more satisfying was that this increase tied in with their other metrics. So within 6 months, they'd beaten their growth targets by 110%. Its net promoter score was up 30%, and staff engagement had increased 11%. And the MD had attributed that directly on the business acting on the Epiphany results. Moreover, and she told me this in confidence, but said I could share it, that she couldn't believe the accuracy and the depth of insights that they received in 72 hours, something that the consulting firm had failed to do in 6 weeks. And she put this down to the way the AI and the algorithms were working. So look, I could go on and say how great we are, but I'll leave you with Louise's quote. As you can see, her business got huge benefit from Epiphany. And there's some other happy customers who have also realized that Epiphany beats traditional methods of analysis and problem identification, hands down. We here in Australia, we've got a world-class team. The next slide is going to introduce our smiling faces. We'd only be too happy to discuss how we can help or partner with you. So please reach out. We'll take you through a demo and you can see how we do what we do firsthand. So thanks very much, everybody.
Nice work there, Anthony, and fantastic testimony there as well from Louise. Why don't we open up to our panelists for questions and feedback?
A quick first question from me. It's Kerry.
Hi, Kerry.
So are you a research tool, and who's your target customer?
Well, interesting. We've had about 100 businesses from 21 industries use Epiphany. We do actually have a research arm, so we have something called knowledge engineering, which is where the questions are derived from, and we can encapsulate any expert knowledge, whether it's psychology, in this case it's business excellence, but we've also been asked to look at how whether a university's research programs are commercially viable. So we can actually explore anything.
So what do you want to do in the UK?
Well, essentially, what's ready to go is essentially the business analysis. So we're really looking at other partners to help us resell, and those tend to be consulting firms or of fairly large consulting firms we've been partnering with, but equally direct customers who might find our product extremely useful in terms of measuring their strategic readiness.
Top 5 targets in the UK?
Top 5 targets in the UK would be, well, we already have one, which has been great. So they've actually, we're going to be starting with them early in the new year. And I would say probably one of the big 4, one of the banks, and there's another couple of insurance firms over there that we're speaking to as well.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Kerry. Alexandra, do you want to go next?
Well, your competitors.
Wow, that's a really difficult one. I mean, we're the only ones using AI in this way. We've exhausted searches and trying to find someone who's doing what we're doing exactly in the way that we're doing it. But I would say we're disruptive. We're disrupting consulting. So traditional consulting processes are essentially our competition. But if people want it, faster, better, cheaper, they come to us.
Okay. And is it UK is that your first target market in Europe, or are there other target markets as well?
Yes, UK will be our first target market in Europe.
Okay. Are you raising capital, or are you looking more for partnerships? I'm sorry, maybe I missed it.
No, good. It's a good question. We were looking to raise, but we don't actually need to at the moment. We're probably going to be looking at some sort of raise early in the new year. But at the moment, we're looking for partnerships. We're looking to get more commercial runway.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. And Fernando, we've got time for one quick one.
You mean Francois or Fernando?
Oh, sorry.
Come on, Jeremiah.
I assumed it was Francois.
It's still early
No
in the
worries.
morning.
It happens all the time. I've been called Francisco.
Sure, you've
I've
been
been called
called
many
worse.
things. I'm an international. I'm an international guy. It's totally fine. So the 1 minute is. I think I'll give some advice instead of questions. I think I understand what you're trying to do. The example of talking only about Louise, which is one company in a sphere of tens of thousands, 21 industries, 100 customers, is belittling your greatness. That would be my advice. I think this presentation is way below what you actually can deliver and what you have delivered, but you're not showing it. You don't even say if you have revenues today. So is it a first thing? Is it a first customer? Is Louise the only customer? I think there's a little bit of, you should refine that you're much bigger than what you're showing today. That'd be my advice.
No, that's fair. It was just trying to squeeze everything into 3 minutes. We could have gone grandiose. We decided to go narrow and deep.
Louise
But
is
no,
not
I
take your point.
I take your point, Francois, and it's well made.
I mean, you said amazing thing. That one line should be your opener to say we're disrupting consulting.
Yeah.
It's a huge industry. Put a number. And number three, anybody that wants, what did you say? Leaner, faster, cheaper comes to us. I mean, it's almost like a marketing tagline, but you haven't put that in. If you put that at the beginning, then I know exactly what you do. You don't have to explain. Show me the graphs or the questions, which survey, which forms. I don't need all this. Take the high ground. I think you've got something amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't need a process slide. Didn't need a process slide in a 3-minute pitch. That sort of detailed. All the steps you go through. I think Francois makes some good points there.
No, that's a fair call. Thank you.
Good guidance there, Francois. And I think you pretty much just nailed that pitch in about 5 seconds. So well done. But Anthony, thanks so much for joining. Great job with the pitch.
Pleasure.
And all the best with scaling.
Thanks for the feedback, guys. Appreciate it.
Cool. All right. So SMEs have always been the growth engine of our economies. And obviously now it's time to get them back up on track. Well, a company who's simplifying the way that they can access funding is Fulfin. And from Fulfin, please welcome Nathan.
Hi there.
Hi, Nathan. You're good to go.
Good to go. Okay, thank you. So my name's Nathan Evans. I'm a Brit. In the meantime, I've actually given me my German passport as well, with 20 years experience in financial services and product across Europe. I'm one of the co-founders of Fulfin. Fulfin came to us as a name, as a combination of fulfillment and finance. And we're revolutionizing the way that micro and small digital SMEs access financial services and specifically working capital within Europe. We have the greater aim to become the most trusted, reliable and effective finance partner for SMEs. And we're starting with working capital. So the problem that we're addressing is simply that Gen Y, Gen Z customers, who are the leaders of these young, dynamic, high growth businesses, have overtaken the financial services industry. The requirements that there are to receive a short-term loan or an overdraft in Germany simply are a mismatch with the reality of these companies. Over half of our companies in Fulfin are under 2 years old, and the core requirement in German financial services of receiving a credit is that you have 2 years history. What we've done is totally turn the case on its head and focus fully on the online workflow. So we serve currently Amazon sellers, Shopify sellers, and online traders with a broader vision to serve also B2B SaaS providers. We have a digital onboarding. We take all of our data in via APIs, be they from e-commerce services themselves or from the banks. And we've built a bespoke logistic integration because over half of our trades are secured and collateralized with physical collateral. We've been live since the end of 2018. We founded at the start of 2018. We received pre-seed investment from Havela Capital, a very well-known and respected German fintech investor behind such names as Credit Shelf and Bitbond in the middle of about 1 year ago. And since then, we've been scaling sustainably but rapidly. This quarter's numbers are just in. We're now printing over 1.25 million in loans every quarter and have revenues of 65,000. My co-founder, Freddie, is shown on this slide as well. We were the two original co-founders. We're joined by 15 talents. At the moment, Freddie has a very high pedigree in risk management and structuring, having previously been in the leadership of Deutsche Bank Austria. He has his PhD in risk management. I myself am an educated physicist, followed with my MBA at Kellogg, and I've had my first 10 years in investment banking and collateral trading, and later then moved into product and tech for the biggest fintech names in the world before it was called Fintech. As I say, we've done 2 rounds so far. We've recently closed a convertible, which has given us runway to Q2 next year. We are starting the raising process again, and now we're looking for 2.5 million to take us through to Series A. So why invest in us? We make currently up to 9-month loans. Our leading interest rates, when they're expressed as such, are between 30 and 35%. Although our customers love us because in context, we're charging between 0.7% and 1.9% per month. We have a very experienced team. We cover all of the bases: tech, product, finance, and risk. We have traction, which is accelerating, and uniquely, after 2 years of being alive for fintech, we have 0 defaults, which I think is unheard of. Thank you, and I'd like to turn it over to any questions you may have.
Great, thanks, Nathan.
And excuse the garb. It's I am in Munich, and it's Oktoberfest, so we have to.
I love that. That's brilliant.
We enjoy it.
All right.
I'm used for 20 years, but.
Kerry, do you want to go first?
I'd give somebody else. I thought I'd give somebody else a chance, but fine. There are lots of companies offering financing of sorts, revenue-based financing, asset-based financing. How are you significantly different?
Okay, so we hear often it's a crowded space, and this might be like old grey hair arrogance, but it's not a crowded space. It's a space full of idiots with a web page and maybe a digital onboarding. We're different because we're operation, we're scalable. We have not just raised, we've raised scalable debt financing. We have a unique product here. We have the, in the sense that not only do we give a loan, the loan itself is totally massaged and constructed to suit our e-commerce use case, which is unique. And we have a logistics integration. We have an own built app that enables us to actually manage physical collateral. So we have this risk mitigation strategy built into our product that we address 2 things: loss given default, but we also address payment morality. We have exceptionally high IRRs, which I wouldn't publicize here, due to early prepayment of our loan. And it's this intelligence, this legal intelligence, this procedure intelligence, that so you don't get with 22-year-old kids who have put a website up and say, I do revenue-based finance for 6%. And you see that.
Yeah. Alessandra.
So thank you for the presentation, it was good. What I'm a little bit confused is, so when you look at your revenues, they obviously went significantly up now the last couple of months with COVID. I'm sure you had a lot of young companies knocking on your door, if I read it correctly. How are you going to secure there the zero default rate? That's one question. Second question is competitors. I know I always ask the same question, but this is for me important to understand what the competitor landscape. And then also, how do you want to, so usually giving out loans is quite a local market. So let's say Germany. How do you want to expand? What are your expansion plans?
Okay, so it was competitors. How do we expand internationally? And could you remind me of your first?
Competition.
Competition, revenues, and an expansion.
Okay, so I mean the revenues. COVID is nice for a headline, and it's been good for some PR. But you know what? We were going to grow whether it's COVID or not because we're at that stage. We're young. So We have had some very unique cases, which have been great as test cases for us. I'll give you an example. We had at the start of COVID, a guy that came to us, he had 10K in revenue, according to his financial reports over the last year. And we could see that he had 100, that Amazon were going to pay him 100K in 2 weeks. And he was selling masks just at the right time. So that had always been his product, and then it went boom. So this guy could scale that at that moment. But if you looked at his reporting, and even if you looked at the bank account, you just could not see this revenue. And we could see it because we had this integration. So we made some very, very short-term, ridiculously lucrative loans for us that guy was glad of. So that's like, COVID's given us a couple of nice stories, but there's just a need in the market. Over half of our customers are under 2 years. They don't get capital, and they're growing 50 to 100% monthly, and it needed a new system. So I don't think it's not going to collapse with COVID. COVID has accelerated e-commerce, but we were going there anyway. Competitors, yes, fortunately we do. There's one or two specialist lenders in Leos. One that's really aligned around only focusing on the product. Then we have Evoca in Germany as well. But of the 1,600 German providers of credit that there are, only 21 are considered fully digitalized. So the market, I think it's a 200 billion market for SME credit in Germany. We don't feel crowded out at all.
Okay, that's huge. One last thing, just to feedback to you. I like what you're saying. I like your company. Just try to catch right from the beginning the listener, because when you look at this and when you hear what you're saying, it is interesting, and I think it's very, very compelling what you're showing. But you have to catch on the beginning right away the person by saying, for instance, okay, we have 0 default rate, or did you know this and this? Like something like this is to catch the attention of the person.
But especially
François, I'm sure François is going to say the same.
Yeah.
Good advice. Unfortunately, Francois, we're out of time, but I'll come to you first for our next company.
Nathan,
so thank you, Nathan.
Come to me. We'll discuss it. I've got loads for you.
Okay.
Cool.
So, yeah, I'll reach out. Thank you.
All right. Well, in a world where it feels like everyone's a journalist, it's becoming even more important to understand the sentiment of your company in the news. A company that is solving that is Yuka Labs. And from Yuka, please welcome Andreas.
Unmute.
Let's go, Andreas. Do we have Andreas?
Hi. Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me? Hopefully, yes.
Yeah.
So, my name is Andreas. I'm founder and CEO of Yuka Lab. I'm short to myself, studied aerospace design, but worked the last 20 years in the financial service sector. So very happy to present you today the company and our achievements. I think, and everyone would agree, that the COVID crisis has really outlined the need to work with real-time data. And you have to be on top of all the relevant news and information around your business activities. And here, Yuka Lab jumps in. We are focusing on the problem of information overload. For a human, it's an impossible task to solve. Yuka Lab is a technology leader in the field of augmented language intelligence and context-based sentiment analysis with our 3 main products, the News, the Quant, and the Risk Lab. The News Lab stands for a structured and highly personalized way to consume relevant news for advisors or sales departments. The Quant Lab provides raw data and signals for outperformance and portfolio optimization tasks. And number 3, the Risk Lab is a perfect fit for risk or credit risk departments to get news-based risk indicators about your company universe in real time, listed or not listed companies as well. Our technology, and this is really amazing. We can comprehend text like a human and identify events as well the affected participants. And to get this, our software reads every day over 500,000 articles from 100,000 licensed and public news sources worldwide. And with our combined offer, our SaaS platform and our API, Yuka Lab can really address the pain points for different target groups such as sales, advisory, risk, or investment management. And as you see, with Deloitte, with Accenture, with UBS, Credit Suisse, or Universal Investment, we have a very attractive portfolio of market-leading institutions within the different sectors as pilot partners or first recurring paying clients. Currently, we are still focused on the B2B market. We expect recurring revenues between 30K and 200K for bigger customers per year. And in addition, we are starting end of this year the B2C side together with the biggest stock market letter provider in Germany. And overall, we are targeting, it's a 100 billion euro market in 2025 due to Tractica or Bloomberg. We are a Berlin and Zurich-based company, professionally launched 2017 summer. We are total 16, 30% female, coming from 8 nations, business experts, and really highly skilled AI, NLP, or quant specialists. So we can show great revenue increase in the first half of 2020 by plus 90%, expect recurring revenues of 600K for the whole year. Currently, we are seeking for a pre-series A round an amount of 1 to 1.5 million euro to enhance the market entry, looking for partners and clients in UK as well, boost the conversation from existing projects to recurring revenue clients, yes, and of course, prepare the Series A for the next year. Yeah, would be happy get you on board, happy to answer your questions, give you live demos, and boost this exciting journey together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andreas. Let's start with Francois.
Hi, Andreas. You sound like you have an amazing business on the way and being built up. It's an investor pitch, from what I understand. Your main goal stated in that slide is fundraising. You're missing most of the fundraising slides, so you need a bit of help. We can help with that, but you're going to need to express what makes you special. I'm going to go back to Alexander's question, and he's going to ask that a third time. Where is your competition? Sentiment analysis is a word that was super cool about 8 years ago. And there are now big platforms all claiming, I'm sure they're not doing what you actually deliver, but they're all claiming to do sentiment analysis as a plugin, as a service, or as an API. So you're going to have to define where you sit, why you're better. Clearly, you are better because your client list is mightily impressive. So your pitch is super unclear, makes it sound like either you don't know the real market and the competition, or 2, you haven't put yourself and sold yourself well enough. Hopefully I can help with that, but refocus on the thing. How do you make money? How do you scale? What do you need to scale? At the moment, it looks like it's not fully cooked.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so thanks for the input. Yeah, we started with the big names as pilot customers within the different verticals. So like the Deloitte, or now we won the biggest reinsurance companies. So every time after the big beauty contest, so we can really show a lot of differentiators, especially so it's not sentiment, it's more really augmented language intelligence. So I mentioned it, we are able to detect really participants as events in one sentence. So this is really point cutting the noise. You can give the machine a task, show me all the relevant, the COVID infected companies within my universe. So, and this is not possible with Bloomberg, with Reuters, or with Google News. And yeah, you're right. So we have much more.
Andreas, I'm going to cut you off there rather than you giving feedback. I would prefer to give one of the other guys a chance to.
Yeah, thank you, but I come back with that, Francois.
Yeah. We've got time for one more. Kerry or
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll give, I got a quick one. You've got an impressive list of clients. You've got 3 functions. You're doing sales, you're doing investment research. You're raising €1 million, which actually isn't a lot. And now you're thinking about going into the B2C market. You haven't even fully penetrated the B2B market, and you're starting to now think about the B2C. I think it's a distraction. And I think that actually, if you want to grow your business relatively quickly with a good product, which you seem to have, then you should be actually focusing and doubling down on the B2B sector.
It's a good point, and I think I have to mention it's B2B2C, so we are not focusing on the B2C side directly. So this for us a multiplier. He's doing everything, but he's targeting retail customers. And
my point still, I still say my same point.
But okay, but you're right. There's
a lot to do in B2B.
Stay focused. Yeah.
Good advice there from the panel. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Andreas. Well done with the pitch, and hopefully that feedback's helpful as well with helping you really focus.
Thank you.
Business. Great. All right, we're going to move now to our next company, And as you know, the FS industry continues to be riddled with inefficiencies and manual processes. There's a lot of room for automation still, and Intellect Design Arena is on a mission to change that. So from Intellect, please welcome Roman.
Shall we preempt it and say unmute?
After Roman.
Thanks, Francisco.
Sorry, Jeremy. I think you've got the wrong person unmuted. Hi. It should be Roman.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We do. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you so much. So thank you for that introduction. Our experience shows that 50% of business operation scenarios require manual intervention with document processing. And yet 80% of data remains unused and logged in documents. For a financial organization, that translates into high value transactions and not enough information at hand to make that right decision. Organizations today are going to lean methodology with primary objectives to optimize operational efficiency, improving profitability, and the end goal of cost reduction and scalability. We at Intellect are addressing that. With our clients, we have reduced the median time from processing of large document submissions from 3 days to 3 hours, improved data quality by 22%, and alerted underwriters and decision makers with hidden risk for loss prevention. Our expertise and experience have helped us to build a platform we call Intelligent Data Extraction, or IDX in short. IDX is a cloud-native, AI-powered information extraction and enrichment platform which contextually extracts from unstructured, semi-structured documents using AI technologies such as computer vision and layers of deep learning and NLP models. The platform provides real-time validation and human-in-loop capability for exception handling. Our models are trained to extract from all documents, all sources, and all types. We are at a point where our models are scalable to any vertical, any domain with minimal effort. We have 7 core capabilities from classification to extraction, normalization, validation, enrichment, verification, and integration. Additionally, our unique differentiation lies in the extraction accuracy, which is over 95% for various documents with remarkably high processing speed. We have 150 plus data stores for data enrichment capability with 8,000 data points that companies can leverage on. Our purpose-built AI models for financial domain provides the domain context and not one-size-fits-all model. And we are doing this since last 2 years in production, and we have extracted over 15 million entities so far and counting. The intelligent document processing space itself, the market itself is growing with an expected CAGR of 51%, and it's about to go to $3.4 billion by 2024. So that's a huge market we are in. And we have got our own share of success stories as well, with one of our clients, which is UK's largest wealth manager, leverage IDX to improve their compliance process as part of the advice suitability and advice assurance, and went on to win the Celent 2020 Model Wealth Management Award. We started small with focused in use cases in general insurance and wealth management, and now we're ready to scale, and we are ready to scale fast. As we plan to scale to other verticals like trade finance and banking and expand to different markets like UK and Australia, we're looking for recommendations from this group to see whether these markets are right to expand and the use cases and use cases to expand to. At the same time, we're also looking at strategic partnerships with organizations and with groups which share the same objectives and share a common set of goals. Thank you so much for your time.
Excellent. Well done there. Alessandra, do you want to go first or should we open it up?
I leave it right now to Francois, and then I will add something.
Okay.
Thanks, guys. So, Roman, I'm going to do one comment and then a question. I think it's pretty clear that you're very focused on product, and both from your title and your role and from the slides. So, you're presenting a business, you're looking for partners to take you to the UK, either through as partners or introducing you to customers. You're going to have to tell us what's in it for them, because at the moment you've just described what an amazing technology with 8 or 10 steps, 1 billion data units that you can absorb and convert to a JSON/CSV export. I'm pretty sure that none of us have understood what actually it does. I understand the value of the technology, data extraction, validation, and governance, compliance. However, you're going to have to tell us, are you a company yet? Do you have one client? Has it been installed anywhere? It doesn't matter whether it has or not, but you have to tell us where you are as a company so that we can help you better with a proof of concept, or if you have 100 clients with a much larger distribution partner. At the moment, it's just a product pitch and it's a bit light for us.
Good advice there. Good advice.
Thanks
and
for the feedback.
build in for next time. Alessandra.
Yeah, so the value proposition I was missing as well. I agree with, I mean, a clear value proposition, and that I think is key in there. And then I couldn't agree more with Francois. Sorry to repeat myself maybe, but it is really about, you're talking to investors who do often not understand exactly what you're actually offering here. They understand the grow, but they don't really understand the actual product that you like wanna like sell here. And it is really important to speak in their language and to catch their attention right away on the beginning, but to speak in their language so they understand. Maybe you can just do that with a very like simple example. It has to be on a slide where they say, did you know blah, 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 blah. And then they can at least rely on, relate to it and understand what you're trying to sell them and why you're raising capital. All in all, I think it's a great area where you are in. It needs more the selling in there, if I can say it this way.
Yeah, so, and picking up from Alexander's point about the selling, is financial services pretty broad sector, and even insurance itself is pretty broad. And so what you haven't identified is which types of forms, which types of data, for example, are you able to automate better, faster, more efficiently than anyone else? There are probably 24 companies doing exactly what you're doing across the entire fintech ecosystem in the UK right now. The banks, the insurance companies, the brokers, they're all looking to automate the ingestion process, the documentation process, digitize the documentation process. It's a very crowded space. And so you haven't actually identified who you think you have the greatest value to in the shortest possible time. And you'll need to prioritize that, particularly in your discussions with partners as well.
Good advice there from the panel.
Thank you.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for, but thank you, Roman, for the presentation. And hopefully the feedback there is really useful as well as you look to scale into the UK. Okay, let's move on to our next company. And as you all know, corporate training is a total bore. Well, here's a company that can now prove it and also help learning vendors to improve and change the way they deliver training. So from Emotics, please welcome Ray.
Very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Ray. I'm CEO of Emotics. We're a RegTech based here in Hong Kong, and we provide analytics for online training. So we're making sure people actually do their training, they're paying attention, and they're not getting someone else to do it for them. So I think we're all aware there's some pretty serious issues around compliance, breaches, and misconduct in financial services. And the primary way they deal with that is around compliance training, where they spend $7.4 billion per annum. But at the same time, the top 50 banks are paying $37 billion in fines for breaches of compliance and misconduct. So clearly something isn't working. And that's because compliance training, as we know, is just broken. Everybody hates doing it. They put it off to the last minute, and then they game the system every way possible. So we see people clicking through it really quickly, guessing all the answers till they get a pass mark. If there's videos, they turn them on, go grab a coffee or lunch, and come back when it's all over. They're sharing the answers around the office, so people just copy and paste them in, or they're handing over their login details to someone else, getting them to log in and do all the training for them. So how do we solve those problems? We're providing that analytics layer that plugs in on top of that training. And again, we're making sure people actually do their training, they're paying attention, and they're not getting someone else to do it for them. So we're doing this with a combination of browser analytics that embed into the learning management system on their desktop, and then facial recognition for ID verification and microexpression analysis for engagement levels. So we can verify that someone's sitting there and they're paying attention all the way through. So the benefits we bring to our clients are, the first one is risk identification and management. So we're able to raise red flags anytime somebody's cheating in your organization, and then marry that with demographic filtering. So you can filter down and see if it's an issue with certain individuals, business units, offices, or if it's a systemic issue across the organization. I think, again, the issue at the root of all of this is the content. It's really dull and boring, and there's no objective data to help feed back on that. So we're pulling this data in second by second to really help you evaluate the effectiveness of the content, determine where you're getting the best ROI from vendors, and optimize your entire training process. And the third element is really around reporting. So having a full audit trail there to enhance your reporting up through compliance and risk to board level for manager in charge regime and reporting over to the auditors or to the regulators. So some of the clients we work with, AIG, AIA, Bupa, Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. Here in Hong Kong, the insurance regulator is now mandating continual ID verification on e-learning. And we're working directly with them, integrating on top of some of their courses. Partner-wise, Intuition is the largest global provider of compliance training for financial services with 90% of the largest financial institutions. We're integrated tightly on top of them. Our close partnership, Thomson Reuters is another major player there. And Deloitte we partner with on culture risk here in Hong Kong and globally on financial crime. So, we looked at these problems. I guarantee you this is an issue within your organization or certainly within your clients' organizations. And if you really want to start taking these issues around culture and conduct seriously and reduce your risk and compliance and stuff like cybersecurity, get in touch. We'll be able to show you a demo and exactly how we can help you out. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Nicely timed there, Ray. All right. Who wants to kick off with feedback to Ray or questions?
A quick question. If it's such a big and important problem, why is nobody tackling it from a financial institution perspective?
Yeah.
Great question. I guess it's like most things in compliance, they're happy to just write another check for 1.5 billion. Nobody's going to jail yet for this kind of thing.
What have your customers, I guess the question is, what have your customers said? Because I don't think it's that flippant that they're quite happy to write a check for 7.5 billion. So what are the customers telling you that is so significant or so important? And what's the barrier for them doing it more effectively?
I guess a lot of the time it comes down to, we're not going to do this until the regulator actually tells us we have to do it. Which we're starting to see come up now, like with the insurance authorities mandating this here, particularly in light of COVID. We're talking to like Singapore Institute of Banking and Finance. They can't have people in doing CPD in large conference rooms anymore. They need to verify that people have done their training and do the ID verification on top of it. So it's really starting to bubble up and it's real kind of coming together, I think, at this stage.
Okay.
I can jump in if you like. So thanks for that. It is indeed a massive problem. It's way greater and wider than the target market that you're going for. I run a co-working space. We have to, by law, show that all the health and safety and now the COVID measures are in place. People are the staff is trained and executing it. So massive market. So it's a great business. Clearly, your client list is super impressive. I have no idea what you need, because it sounds like you have amazing clients, the technology works, you have a no-brainer of a value proposition, and you're asking us to request a demo. Great, I'll ask you for a demo if you wish. Do you need, why are we talking? If you need money, state it and explain where you're at in your journey, how the money is going to do. I'm a bit lost as to why we're here. It's a fantastic business in a fantastic sector.
Yeah, we're doing a raise right now with a view to UK US expansion, leveraging the practices we have in place and having sales staff, on the ground with Intuition and Thomson Reuters and Deloitte to be able to go into those meetings, and also having the support staff so we can give 24/7 support to meet the needs of the SLAs with our partners.
As an investor pitch, you're missing all of the things that are the mental hook to the brain. You have 3 minutes. I don't need to know how it works. I just need to have, wow, this is amazing. Sector is amazing. Come and see me. This is your only job. 3 minute pitches are a hook.
I was just going to add to that, to Francois. On the beginning, you started really well. I was like looking at it. Wow, this is, yes, I know that problem. I didn't know it was that huge, what you're showing. Excellent. Great start. Then suddenly I was like, well, and so what? Like what's next? It's like so you have to just keep this in. And what you just said now at the end, this is exactly what needs to go into your pitch. So great start. Just finish it in a correct way, and you can do it in 3 minutes. I think your pitch is absolutely doable in 3 minutes with all the points like Francois just said.
Excellent.
Great.
Good.
Yeah. more partners, investors, money, and top tier clients to speak with in the UK. It's really what we need right now.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ray. And thanks to the panel for some great feedback there as well. Hopefully that's useful, and it feels like you're sitting on a massive opportunity from that initial feedback, at least, Ray. So hopefully that's helpful. All right, that's 5 down, 5 to go, people. Just a reminder, if you want, scroll up in the chat and hit on the form there to get connected to any of the companies you're meeting today. It only takes a minute, and I encourage you to double screen with this one, watch them here on your laptop, and click connect on your phone if you like. But we're going to jump into our sixth company right now. So as peer-to-peer selling takes off, the challenge of trust remains a key issue. Truzo is looking to build trust in that equation. So please welcome Terence from Truzo. Terence, over to you.
Thank you. Brexit and COVID both leave the UK with increased levels of uncertainty and risk at a time when, let's face it, we can least afford it. The UK desperately needs new trading partners beyond the EU, but the cost of international trade remains stubbornly high. With multiple layers of fees, traditional letters of credit are complex and slow to execute. The UK GDP is down 20%, 40% of SMEs may not reopen, and we've lost 750,000 jobs post-COVID. So how are you to know which of your clients is going to go bust or file for bankruptcy, shut their doors for good, and won't be in a position to pay you for the products or services you provided? Some of your best clients for years could become your worst. And what happens when people get desperate? Desperation gives rise to higher levels of fraud and scams. How do you protect yourself and your business from becoming just another victim? The answer is Truzo, a digital escrow payment platform that enables buyers and sellers to transact with trust. Our simple, safe, and secure payment platform ensures buyers get exactly what they've paid for, and sellers get paid on delivery, anytime, anywhere, on any device, and in any currency. We create trust in 4 simple steps. Post a strict compliance verification process. All of the transacting parties are compliance verified with FCA regulations in mind. The buyer and the seller agree to a transaction, and the terms of the transaction. Truzo holds the buyer's funds securely in trust. When the seller delivers and the buyer is happy, we release payment. Our purpose is to assist economies grow safely and securely, ensuring nobody is scammed. Thus far, we've achieved over $350,000 in revenue. We've got over 3,100 registered users in South Africa, and we launched the world's first holistic escrow app in 2018. With our UK and SA operation, we have a multi-currency offering, and we're appointed to the UK government's Global Entrepreneur Program this year. We're looking for more than just an investor. We're looking for a strategic distribution partner who shares our purpose, our passion, and who together can make us greater than who we are as individuals. We're looking for partners that provide us access to clients in international trade, SME portals, and online classifieds businesses, with a pre-Series A round of around £1.25 million for 10% of our business. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Terence. All right. Who wants to kick off?
Quick one. How are you different from Shield Pay?
I was hoping you'd ask. Shield, we're pretty much the same. We do have an app though. We're focusing more on Africa and South Africa specifically to start off with. Shield Pay focuses on the property sector and SMEs. We're looking at more the international trade area.
If you're looking at international trade, then you're also competing with invoice insurance players as well. So where do you sit in that space? Because the risk is mitigated by somebody taking out in invoice insurance at a very, very low cost.
Yeah, so our cost again is exceptionally low because it's a digitized platform, and we're focusing on the Africa-UK trade, specifically South Africa to start off with, and the rest of Africa post that. The UK-Africa trade piece is around $8.5 billion in bilateral trade. From an Africa perspective, you're looking at around $28 billion.
Shall I jump in?
Go for it.
Sure. So this is so far the best presentation. Well done. A little bit scripted. You're speaking now extremely differently from the way that you spoke for the last 3 minutes, which obviously makes it sound a bit weird, but it's fine. I think you'll get more comfortable the more you do. It's very clear what you do. I think you're going to have to focus really specifically on who you need as your investors. Custodian services, I've been there for 150 years, in fact more, all the way back to people shipping routes and the Silk Road. I didn't see anything in technology. The new trend in your sector is now using completely independent blockchains, whether public or private, so that nobody has control over that transaction in cash. And therefore it's a three-way smart contract, if you want to call it that way, but that's where it's leading. I didn't hear any of that. So you might want to have a very tight slide saying why we're different or how you're different and why you're not doing what everybody else is now, jumping into the bandwagon of this blockchain with zero fee transactions.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe one addition to this, just if you mention blockchain, it is like still in its infancy stage, as we all know. Just make sure that it's like something that you have on a radar screen and that you want to work with, and that you're already doing some whatever testing or lab. But it is your core business is really the escrow account. So I really liked also very much your presentation. It was very clear. I understood what you wanted. My first thing that jumped in my mind was like, okay, what other business than in a real estate business is as big as a real estate business here, for instance, in England or in many other countries, obviously the trading. And I think you have to say that much more clear. So for instance, before, when Kerry asked you about Shields and about the other one, I forgot, you were saying then, they're more active in real estate and we are more active in the other one. So I think it's very important that you say this message up front, this is your core market where you're after. But otherwise, great presentation. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to listen to you.
Great
stuff. Well, hopefully that's useful feedback, Terence. Well done on a very clear presentation, and all the best with the raise as well there.
Thanks.
Cool. So we're going to move to our next company now. And the next company is looking to challenge the online payment collection space. So please welcome Venkatesh from Fee Plaza.
Greetings, everyone. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yep.
You're good to go.
Great.
Yeah.
I start with saying we are a fintech payments company, and the award that we see here on the screen is the second one. We have received one of the first international recognition we received is we were the finalists in Singapore Fintech ASEAN in 2017. We were incorporated in 16. It's about 4.5 years now. We have been collecting what I like to call as branded payments. It is merchant specific branding platform where we give plug and play platform where merchant can extend their branding experience to payments. Each merchant does not have to invest anything. It is fairly easy. They just put our link. So what happens is any website that is not having a call to action to payment can be immediately converted to a website that's having a call to action to payment. They don't lose customers. They can reach out to the wallets of the customers quickly. The platform, the image you see here is of a few businesses that are having their branded apps on published by us. The platform is internationalized, that is, we can include all languages. Right now, we have not done left to right, but we can include all languages: English, French, German, Japanese, whatever. The customers need not invest anything. The cost of non-financial data acquisition is practically zero. I'll give you an example. If you join a gym for a specific regimen, and it's a gym that belongs to a particular chain, the chain will get to know which outlet of the gym you have joined, which city, and they can collect your data like your name, email address, phone number, and things like that. Everything is available. All non-financial data is available out of the box. We are 2 partners, and we have a licensee in the US. We have licensed the entire platform to the US, including branding. And we have engineers in India. We are known for frugal engineering. We can extend into payments within payment space. We can extend it to freelancers. We can extend it to people who want to book appointments, for professionals that need booking appointments, everything. We are primarily looking at someone who can help us with connections in the UK. You know, there may be a situation where we can pull off investing in the UK also. So as in we can do frugal engineering for UK, but we will need connections. That's practically we need almost, whether it's with a bank or a payment gateway.
Excellent. Good stuff. Thank you. Nicely timed there. All right. Any questions or feedback from the panel?
I can jump in because all the others are going to be way too friendly. You're going to have to rewrite this pitch deck. We can help you for sure. I don't even understand what you do, because branded payments is great, super clear. I have no idea how it works, why use it, and what's the benefit to customers. And then I still don't understand whether you have even one trial or a proof of concept, who you're targeting, and what you need. You know, you need £4 million, a lot of cash, without having any clients or proof of concept. You're going to really struggle to raise that kind of money. And you also want to have banks. Why banks? Why payment gateways, which to me look like competitors to you? I'm completely confused. So you're going to have to restart and simplify.
Yeah,
I'm going to defer to Alexander. He's the master of payments here.
He's our hero. So
no. The hero is our hero is actually Fernando. But anyway, listen. Okay, with my background at Visa, I was also confused. So I know what you're doing with your payment gateway. I understand that, but I was completely confused. And on the beginning, you're starting to explain what the company, when it was incorporated, all your rewards you had, etc., etc. But explain the problem. What problem are you trying to solve? Number one. Number two, if you look at the value chain in the payment space, in there you have to explain where are you fitting actually. Because now I was a little bit confused also to Francois' comment is where in the value chain do you fit? Which are your services? Okay, white label solution. Okay, you're helping other ones with fees and with to operate without fees. You have a payment gateway as well. I'm really confused. What is really what you're bringing to the table? What is the value proposition you really bring to the table? And what also at the end, what also differentiates you? Because in India especially, there is a lot of different payment service providers, also payment gateways that are there. What differentiates you really from the others? So I think what Francois said is you really need to rework on that presentation. Take a very simple template. You can see 1 million of them on the web, or call Francois. He can help you with this too. And really what the problem, what the solution, etc., etc. So it's really the usual structure, which may help you is to be more clear, more precise with your message.
Thanks everyone. I got a common message from you all. That is, I have presumed a lot of things. I have presumed the audience knows a lot of things in the workflow. What I just want to clarify right now, just one point, I won't take too much time. We are not a payment gateway. We sit in front of a payment gateway. We can make a plain vanilla payment gateway very attractive and usable by general public who don't have access. I won't say public, I mean small, medium enterprises that don't have access to their own IT. We can give them a clean solution. So we can tie up with a payment gateway, plain vanilla payment gateway in UK, and make it a nice service.
Okay, so but then you see, my next question would be then, is like Square that offers also the device and the payment gateway, or no, I mean the service in front of the payment gateway. There's many questions I would have to ask you, and that's why try to show the typical value chain and really show where you're in. There is nothing that beats visualization, and
yes. Yes.
And people will understand much quicker.
And why, and the other thing, just following up on that, why it's important for all these individual small businesses to have their own brand. I mean, if you talk about freelancers and all these small businesses, all they want to do is collect money and go back to doing whatever they were doing. They're not worried about payment gateways. They're not worried about any of that stuff. That's why you've got some up in iZettle and everything else.
Yes, that's where we fit in.
Good advice there from the panel. Venkatesh, thank you so much for pitching, and hopefully that's useful to you as well. Feels like there's a lot of speaking note stuff that needs to be moved into speaking note, and keeping the slides visual is an easy, quick win for you to help explain this better. But thanks for joining. We've got 7 down, 3 to go now. So our next company is looking at the space of security, which is obviously a key challenge for both banks, law enforcement, and the users. Henko has developed a complete toolkit for passwordless identities and authentication. So from Henko, please welcome Felix.
Hi, everybody. I make one correction here. We're focusing on user experience and we bring security with us. So that's why I founded Henko about 2 years ago. We want to help the world to get rid of passwords. And here on the slide, you see some reasons why we want to do that. The main thing here, the main message is passwords get stolen and phished from you, and they are a pain to use. I think we all can agree on that, and I don't have to go any deeper into the reason why passwords are really a huge problem for us. And what is even worse than one password, you ask? I think it is 2 passwords. And we can see in the world there are happening regulations because one password is not secure. And so we have a thing that is called 2-factor authentication. And it is most of the time typing another password from one device into another device. So I think this needs to change someday. And as I said, that's why I founded Henko, and we wanted to help having a solution for this problem once and for all. And luckily, there's a change happening with our devices, with the hardware manufacturers and the operating systems that are biometric sensors and secure hardware that is integrated into all our devices. And this can not only be used to have your fingerprint to log into an app, because in the background in the old days, a password is sent to the server anyway. So you don't have passwordless accounts. But now with this technology I'm showing you today, it is possible to have truly passwordless accounts. So you don't rely on passwords anymore. You only use your hardware and your secure devices. And we're not alone with that. Basically, our business is based on what the FIDO Alliance is doing. And the FIDO Alliance is mostly companies. I mean, anyone who has anything to say on the internet today is part of the FIDO Alliance. And they developed these FIDO standards that makes possible what I've explained to use your fingerprint sensor, your touch ID, your face ID on the web without the need to install anything on your devices. And the catch here is every website that wants to use FIDO, that wants to support FIDO for their users, could it be a web shop, a bank, it doesn't matter, a fintech, everyone will need their own FIDO infrastructure that is a PK, private key, public key based infrastructure that they need and run and maintain in their infrastructure. So this is what we do. We are developer-focused startup, and we offer FIDO authentication as a service. It's basically an API that you can consume that enables you to get up and running with FIDO in no time. We are FIDO certified. We already work with big names like SAP and help them become FIDO capable, so to speak. And we are looking now to expand into the UK market, and we're looking especially for partners and introductions to fintechs, to banks. Yeah, that's what I was hoping for today. Thank you.
May I start?
Please do, Francois.
So I love what you do, because I challenge anybody in the world today, all of us on the call, I hope there's thousands of us watching, not just a few hundreds, to remember we have about 100 web services. We have a forced change, and now they go from 6 to 9 to 10 to 12 with the 2FA. It's impossible. So everybody is putting their head down and saying, no, I think I'm okay, but actually passwords are a nightmare, and that affects, and it's super costly when it's breached. So you've got an amazing business there. Presentation, well, I guess you require funding and distribution, both. The market is wide open, but you have some major competitors, which you're not mentioning. And you need to think of companies like Pixelpin. You've mentioned SAP. You have to look at what Google and Apple and all the others are trying to do themselves, from the payment services, one-click finger services, and why they're not working. And you have to go back to Microsoft Passport, Yahoo back in the days. There's a reason why it will only be an independent like you that's going to win that war. But you need to explain that. Otherwise, from the consumer's end, I can pay with my Google Pay, with my Apple Pay, and everything can then open up. So a lot of work to do on what you do and why you are at the center of something massive.
And I think
go ahead. No, go ahead, Alexander. No.
And I think you need to explain also what exactly you want to do with FIDO. I mean, me coming with my background at Visa, we did a lot with authentication. So 3D Secure or Verified by Visa was one that did not go very well. You have many, many others to look at. So I think it's really important that you explain what exactly you do with FIDO and where you want to head and what are the advantages really when you compare yourself to the competitors that Francois just mentioned before.
So I was confused. I was confused. You took a long time to get to almost 2/3 of the presentation before you even said, oh, we're FIDO authentication as a service. You spent way too much time very early on droning on about the problem and that we knew. And you made a statement, actually, I think you missed that you should anchor the beginning of your presentation is you want to get rid of the world's passports. You said it, but you had this slide full of numbers and detail, which no one was really interested in. And I think you could have anchored the beginning of the presentation with that statement, gone on very quickly with, here's the problem we have, 2FA, et cetera, and then gone into FIDO authentication as a service. Who is FIDO? Great. They're the world standards. Great. And then what is FIDO authentication as a service? Still don't know what it is, and I still don't know what it does, and I still don't see who it benefits other than developers. But what does that actually mean? So I think you need to tighten up and focus a lot more on what actually the proposition is.
Yeah, you're the Stripe for web services.
That's exactly right.
Say it.
Okay.
Say it.
Say it just like that. This last slide should be your first, and then it's done. Problem solution is such a no-brainer. Everybody's suffering.
Yeah, you don't have to drone on about it.
You got plenty, but we'll help out. And introductions are everybody. The large companies that you've mentioned are looking for partners. So you're in an amazing space. You just need to structure it.
Thanks a lot for your feedback, guys.
Yeah. And Alexander, did you have something to add to that, or?
No, I agree with you. I would have actually more asked him, how does he fit with one password, for instance, which I'm using, but that's more personal. Let's not go into this.
Oh, Hanko has that password already. He's got it. Yeah. So,
Yeah. No, but all in all, Felix, you're really in a great space. Believe me, I always was very excited to work in that space at Visa. And I think you have a lot to do there and a lot to go and a lot of opportunities, but just make it clear where you're heading to and with what, and what are the problems you're trying to solve. We know it, we understand it, but if you visualize it, I mean, also what Francois and Kerry said before, like, oh my God, now I have to imagine 10 letter password, one in capital, one with like special sign, whatever. Everybody understands that and everybody will listen to you.
Brilliant. All right, thank you guys. Great advice there. And Felix, well done with Hanko. It looks like it's very promising and big opportunities for you here. So let's jump into our second last company now. And what they're doing is, what they claim to do is the global AI marketplace for insurances. So from Yellow May, please welcome Jussi Tomola.
Welcome from my side as well. Nice to be here. So the global AI marketplace for insurances. Why? Because the insurance is the final frontier. It's basically that our ambition is to beam it to the 21st century by delivering a worldwide database, seeking insurances with AI, and delivering the most valuable terms and conditions information with our algorithm within seconds, and making it interesting and delivering with creative advertising. And what does this mean? It's window shopping of insurances. That does not exist there. And if we look at then basically what we have done so far, it means that we have had some success. We have well, definitely we are in the customer phase currently. We have there also some recognition from the market that we have been doing and are doing something different than has there been before. And I would love to say that insurances are exciting and fun, but they are kind of boring and complex. But that's something that we want to change. And if we look at it, almost 80% of the people make their purchase decision before they go nowadays into any buying process. And this is actually missing from insurance products. They are really far-fetched on that you need to go through a lot of details before you actually enter into the buying process. So what we basically have a platform which you can access, but the access in real life, there's a video on it, is in reality that you don't never go into the platform directly, not at this stage. In a later stage, yes, then that's definitely there. But now we are connecting people through social media to different platforms there to enter into our flow. And here, if we look at this one, let's see, will it run? So this is kind of this is the TikTok of insurance, because there is nowadays people are really going wild on 15 seconds, and our flow is kind of, it's not 15 seconds, this is actually 25 seconds. But on the back, there's the artificial intelligence, which have been seeking the insurance products there for the customer. And then you go and have a look at the actual products there from the insurance companies. And basically what we are looking for, investment, yes, but definitely at this stage as well, customers. It's really about also customers onboarding to the platform, and that we have done easy for them to not to go too details in integration. That's our task there on the back end to onboard them now. Thank you.
Great. Well done. Nicely presented. Yeah, go for it, Francois.
So thanks for that. It's obviously a massive space. It's one of the prettiest and easy to understand presentations. So well done on that. But my God, you are missing some critical pieces. Have you heard of Money Supermarket? Have you heard of USwitch? Have you heard of all the comparison engines?
Yes.
You have to explain what you have. You have to explain the differences, or since you're talking about the new insurance revolution, the before and after, and put that at the very beginning. Because as soon as you say, AI marketplace of insurances, that's why everybody thinks, saying what's different. And we've had to wait all along, long time before we actually even mention it. So that's my number one. Talk about the elephant in the room immediately to get that out of the way. And number two, you're a marketplace. Marketplaces are extremely difficult because they're two-headed monsters. You need to have enough customers to buy stuff, otherwise the suppliers don't sign up. You need to have enough supplies in place, otherwise the consumers don't buy. Where are you now? How many insurance products do you have? How many consumers? What's the ratio? How much does it cost you to get a customer? Do you make money? Do you have any money? What's the average margin, etc.? If you want to have an investment pitch, you're going to have the basics of a slide deck that hooks me. You don't have to tell me all. You just have to have something exciting enough that say, "Wow, that's amazing! Come and see me."
That's good.
And at the moment, that's not there.
I think I've never done a 6-slide pitch, so I think that's my ending there. Definitely, that's good. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Francois. Alexandra or Kerry?
I'm not sure there's much to add actually from that, although I was slightly confused as to what you actually are offering. Is it just simply, a money supermarket for more insurance companies to list their proposition? Which kind of insurance? Is it travel insurance? Is it product insurance? Is it car insurance? Is it life insurance? You mentioned a bunch of things right at the beginning around product catalogs. You've referenced AI Marketplace 5 times. I think AI is slightly overused, and I think you'll get challenged on that. It's a marketplace, and you may be able to do something faster, better, cheaper. If I'm interested in, as a consumer, in buying insurance, is it basically cheaper product than what I currently have. I mean, that's essentially what it is. And is it on the same terms? So there was a bunch of things I was just confused as to what you're doing. And then maybe it was the slide, but the one where you showed the video with the phone upside down or on its side, I couldn't actually see anything. So maybe it was my screen, but I saw it actually on its side, not vertical. Okay. On the demo. So
very good.
Good.
Yeah, I can only add to this. I was also confused. And your demo, it's always really tough to show a demo in a pitch, in my view, and especially in a 3-minute pitch, even though your video was clearly only 25 seconds long. But I wouldn't do that. I would just really show a big picture and how many seconds it needs for somebody is to do a search. Because that, I think, was your point. Also, the other slide where you're saying, well, insurance are boring, insurance are this and that. We all know that. I think you don't need to put this in. I mean, as François, and I agree to this, I love the yellow and the white, but explain really clearer what you're trying to solve here and what you're trying to do. And I think if you exercise a little bit more in front of a camera or whatever, I think you will get there.
Excellent. All right, thanks, UC. Hopefully that's good feedback.
Definitely, it's really valuable, definitely. Good.
Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. To our panelists. And now it's time for our 10th and final company for this session. So we're going to stay on the theme of payments. And of course, there's a huge number of tools out there that can help with payments. But bringing all of that together, it's a company called P3 Cloud Assets. So to talk about P3, please welcome Hassan.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us and giving us your time. So P3 is a payment system platform that digitizes the flow of funds between all sorts of actors, from consumers, merchants, financial institutions in real time, primarily to enable payment ecosystems. P3 itself stands for people, payments, products, all combined together. Whoever's controlling the slides, please jump to the next one if you can. The way we depict that is that the extreme left is the consumer, the final beneficiary. Consumers have multiple engagement points. Those engagement points sit on multiple channels. What happens behind that is a transaction. It gets processed somewhere, and then multiple of the services can be combined and aggregated. Our view of the world is that every flow that you look at from a bank's point of view or an insurance company's point of view is an interaction and a transaction. That's primarily what's going on. And then what sits underneath of that has to be a capability that pulls everything together. So P3 as a core platform has an aggregated set of various services, all the way from endpoints to transaction handling to account-to-account payment APIs to identity to multi-currency handling, tokenization, which all combine together on a landscape of either retail point of sale related flows or consumer flows or unique experiences that organizations require or operators. Here's an example of what we've done for the Thai government for national scale disaster management, risk mitigation, prevention, where we've used elements from parametric insurance to identify risk and therefore the corresponding damage in the event of a flood or a drought scenario. It was recognized by the UN Disaster Risk Prevention Agency as well. Finally, we've been working in a host of markets. So 3 primary partnerships. We're working closely with Worldline as our acquiring partner for Europe. We're the first Worldline partner set up in Finland, Helsinki-based company, I should have said in the beginning, but established 2014, Helsinki, 50 staff strength. Nordea is the partner bank, recognized by MasterCard as well. We were voted the most revolutionary fintech of the year 2019, as well as the winner of the e-payments challenge 2019, Frankfurt. Target customers are in banking, telco services, insurance. Where we are at this stage, so we've managed to build a pretty steady baseline, revenues upwards of €1 million and growing. We've signed up multiple customers to a total contract value on book of about €50 million at this stage, seeking, of course, growth in the UK market, setting up UK as an internationalization hub, and also our global route to market. Partnerships with insurance, banking, utilities, retail, amongst others, and looking forward to your feedback. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, Hassan. All right. Who wants to kick off from our panel?
I have no idea what you do.
Me too.
I don't even know what the problem is. Are you a consulting firm or a research firm? I'm not sure where to start. I'm really confused. So maybe you can help tell us what's the problem, what's your solution, what is your business?
I'm confused too, even though I have a payment background, but I'm confused as well.
Okay, so we're a platform. The platform is used by our customers to build private ecosystems, payment ecosystems.
What does that mean? Can you speak? Let's assume we don't know anything about payments, so we don't know about ecosystems, and we don't know about platforms. What is it that you do, and what problem are you solving?
Okay, let's say that you're a bank, a mid-sized bank. You have a core banking system, which is where sort of everything at the core comes together. You've got to pull together a huge spaghetti of components all around you to make that core banking system relevant for your market, whether that's consumer flows or retail flows or B2B flows. All of that stuff outside the core banking system is what the P3 platform does for you.
So what are you doing that actually isn't already being done by any of payment providers, gateways, financial institutions, intermediaries, whatever? That's what I'm still confused.
That's exactly what they are. So they're external to your domain. Those are the services you seek to either aggregate or combine and build around your products and services. We are the platform that a bank would use to create those services. They would pull in a piece of Visa, they would pull in a piece of MasterCard, they would pull in a piece of local domestic gateways, and they would create unique services that they create for their target market, target customer groups.
I can jump in, which I think will help you sell.
Please, Francois.
I understood that because I've been helping several companies in that space. You are the backbone and the core network infrastructure with all of the 3-layer stack on top of it. Think of it, guys, as what Cisco, when they want to help financial institutions, use in the back end. Think of what Vodafone has bought. They are building the massive backend infrastructure. You don't see anything because there's nothing to see. It's the backend database with security, with connectivity, all the backbone plumbing. And they're building this instead of having a bunch of spaghetti of 1,000 different technologies, which obviously need updating, maintaining, licensing, and connecting. There's a single, clean, new age infrastructure is massively lower cost to run. But it's a big, difficult. You're going to be, you should mention the competition. People don't understand when you have Atos, when you're going to have Tata, when you have those guys. This is, this is the aquarium you're swimming in with big, big fat sharks, and therefore you need to show very quickly on this is what you do: massive scale, massive size infrastructures. And to what makes you different, because they will all claim that they can do every single security, connectivity, intelligence, and payment services, even though they are really expensive, slow, and difficult. So I think a little bit of positioning would really help you.
And you need to focus. And you need to focus on a sector. You can't just say you're looking for partnerships in insurance, banking, utilities, retail, and basically every industry that might exist in the UK or any other country. You need to pick a sector, and maybe banking isn't the obvious one. Maybe it's others who actually don't have the infrastructure, because a bank is not going to rip out its existing integration infrastructure, but maybe it's people who want to offer this capability, who actually don't have those skills, expertise, and who want almost like in the telecoms world, an MVNO. Can you offer a bank in a box equivalent for non-banking solutions? Those also exist as well. So you have to be able to show how you're different from Rails Bank, for example.
Good advice there, Kerry. Hassan, I'm going to move us on. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for. Hopefully that's really useful feedback. Obviously, it's difficult to communicate anything in 3 minutes, but it's also a great discipline to build. So thanks for joining, Hassan. Hopefully that's useful feedback. What I want to do now, we've just got a couple of minutes, and I want to hear from the panel in terms of overarching feedback that you would have for these companies. We've just seen 10 companies pitch. Obviously, 3 minutes is challenging, and then they've got the limit of 6 slides and the forced rotation of those moving every 30 seconds. But some of them nailed it, some of them found it a bit more of a challenge. I'd love your feedback from our panelists. Just what would be your overarching feedback and guidance to these companies as they set up shop here in the UK? Francois, do you want to start with that?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm going to focus. The one thing that I think all of you are suffering is you're trying to cram too much information into 3 minutes. That never works. And, therefore you're going into scripting and reading and all sorts of things that makes it not you, and therefore you're not likable. The only thing that you have in 3 minutes is you have to create a hook into the investor brain or the partner, the distributor brain. That hook is critical. It's the only thing you need, so that somebody will find it either challenging or massively different or way better, faster, cheaper, leaner, and give you a card and say, come and see me. That's really interesting. It's your job done for these sessions. So explaining where you come from, the founder, the team, and all that stuff is not. Create mental hooks to the brain is the only job of those 3 minutes. At the moment, you're going way too much detail, too much product, too much storylining. Just create a hook and you'll be fine.
Great advice. Alessandro.
So with the hook, I agree. So, I mean, your only objective of this 3 minutes is to get another meeting with your investor. That's the only objective you have. So you explain what is the problem, what is the solution, and at the end, you really want, your objective is to get another meeting. Whoever is your audience, try also to relate a little bit on them, so that they immediately understand within these 3 minutes what you have to offer, and that they at the end are saying like, look, I want to see you, and I want to arrange a meeting for another half an hour, another hour. With what Francois said, because you're trying to cram everything in 3 minutes, people lose you. They are not really enthusiastic anymore to listen more to you, and they like switch off. It's like typically when you do a pitch, it's like typically when people take their phone and start looking on their phone where it's not going in the right direction. So just always think your objective is to enthusiast your listener and to have them asking you for a second meeting. That's it. There's nothing else.
Good advice. It's all about the second meeting. And Carrie, any last points from you?
Yeah, I think too many of you were trying to boil the ocean in terms of not thinking too much carefully enough about who your target customer partner is likely to be. Just reeling off a whole long list of sectors actually isn't helpful to anyone because they can't help you, first of all. And second of all, it shows that you haven't really thought about your audience, your customer in a way. And I think the related to point is, if you want to talk to insurance companies, you should have a hit list. You should know that I want to talk to insurance company A, B, and C because they meet my requirements for A, B, and C. So you should know a bit more about who you want to talk to and why they're appropriate for your business at this stage.
Great advice there. So you create a hook, think about the second meeting, and be audience first. I think 3 great pieces of advice. The only things I would add to that, as we've gone through this, it's felt like a lot of you have done a great job of pitching, but you've really undersold the opportunity. So I would encourage you to really reflect on some of the feedback that you might have received there from the panel. Obviously, the UK is a crowded and a well-developed market. So it's important to showcase how you're different as well. That came through in quite a few of the presentations. This idea of catching people in the first few seconds, Francois mentioned it. It's such a critical one, and it really relates to a lot of the advice that you received around keeping it simple. And then the last point there, being clear on your ask. You've got an audience here which is very well connected. You've got a panel that's got a huge amount of advice and wisdom in this space, but also a huge number of connections as well. So being clear on your ask is a great place to a great thing to add in there at the end as well. So look, thank you so much to our panel for asking great questions and providing some invaluable feedback. I really hope that was useful to the startups. And then of course to everyone here in the audience as well, please do use this as a chance to select and connect with the companies you've met. You've got the link in the chat, drop your name, select the companies you'd be interested in having a follow-on conversation about or receiving more information on, and the team from Newfound will make those connections as well. But right now it's time for me to say thank you to our panel and to hand back over to Peter.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. And, obviously I'd like to thank you for your moderation today, for ushering the cats. It's never easy. And you did a great job as always. And also to the panelists, Francois, Kerry and Alexandra, lots of sage advice. And I'm sure there'll be some follow-ups from many of the companies because, as you say, you've talking a lot of common sense. So before we wrap, I wanted to just quickly go around the pitch day companies and ask for two things from you. Well, actually three things. Put your camera on. And then secondly, to just encapsulate how the last couple of weeks have been for you, your biggest takeaway. And also, we love to hear your advice about how you would suggest we improve things as well. So we'll start with Anthony. He was first out the block. So obviously after that, then obviously we'll go through each company. So Anthony, how was it for you?
Oh, look, I think it was a mix. I think some of the talks and some of the information was relevant and really on point for me. And I particularly liked there were a couple of the sessions that I found, even though they weren't directly related to what we do, I thought the speakers were really interesting and they painted I haven't been in the UK now for 10 years, so you quickly lose touch and things change. When I was there, UK was part of Europe and it wasn't a pandemic. So, now it's not. So, and there is. So that was interesting. I enjoyed seeing the breadth and depth of other companies that were on Newfound. Some of the work that's actually going on there. I think the 3-minute thing sometimes does a bit of an injustice to some of the companies. I don't think we particularly sold ourselves brilliantly because when I did actually have a chat with one or two of the others, what they're doing really is fascinating. You need an hour to really understand, or more, to really understand the depth of what's going on there. But there's some tremendous innovation happening, and being in the AI field that we're in, there's some spooky things going on, but some really exciting stuff too. So look, I think more power to you. This was it's a great enterprise in putting all this together, and so well done, Peter. It was really, really good, and the rest of the team. They've not failed to have fantastic communication, make themselves available. I think you guys have really you must be burning the candle at both ends because it must have been seriously hard to run this in multiple countries the way you've done. So well done.
Thanks, Anthony. Certainly a lot of lessons, that's for sure. Right.
I imagine, yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Nathan at Fulfin, what's your takeaway so far?
You need to unmute.
You're on mute.
Hi. The challenge of a founder when you're scaling is that find the time to do something like this. I can't take 2 weeks out of what we're doing to drop into all of the sessions. And it went by quite quickly. So what I liked was that the sessions were videoed. So even though I didn't get to the sessions particularly, so I missed some of the interaction, the things that were specifically relevant to me, I could go back and search and find them. I think there could be a little bit more thought into making them more findable, more thematic as well. Like some of the sessions were some stuff that I call like wishy-washy. I know this after 25 years, and other stuff I say I'd like to be there for that particular thing. So if they were made more bite-sized, that would be great. But yeah, it's a coordination challenge. So props to you for actually doing it, and I'm sure you have your reasons, as we all know. Gets you a profile, but it's a good digest. And if one or two things come out of it, and there is that ability to drop in and come back out again, then I think it works well. So thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Right, on to Yuka Lab, please.
Yeah, Andreas here. I would say many thanks for the whole assistance. One sec. And the service you provided here, Peter. So we saw quite a couple of other conferences, and I have to say, really, definitely, it works fantastic and well, no problems at all. on that side. So for the pitch session today, I laughed and really like to see the other pitches, get a lot of inputs here from your three advisors here, really much appreciated. For us, I have to say, so we had the last weeks were quite stressful, so it was more a challenge, more or less a challenge to participate in all the different sessions. And so that's why when you send around the videos you stored, so appreciated as well, so I can have a look and see what's going on there. Definitely. Big thank you. Yeah.
Pleasure, Andreas. Right, if we can move on to intellect design, please.
Yep. Thank you so much, for doing this. This was really a great opportunity. So the 3-minute pitch actually helped really personally me and the organization to take, and the feedback which I have gotten from the panelists really helped to understand what are those key messages which we want to give out while we are at our product and we are building our platform. The feedback was key with respect to don't boil the ocean, what you're really going after and what's your competition. I think there are some good takeaways which I have taken and will improve upon that. So thank you really very much for this opportunity.
Thanks, Raman. I appreciate it. Right, if we can ask Emotics, please.
Might be on mute too.
I don't think Ray's here.
That or the Great Firewall of China is in action.
Okay, so Emotics may not be able to dial in. Truzo, please.
Yeah, thank you to Peter and the rest of the Newfound team. It was, for me, super insightful. Coming from South Africa into a new market, some really good insight into the UK ecosystem and the market itself. I really enjoyed the presentations by the entrepreneurs specifically, discussing their ups and downs and their learnings through their journey. And yeah, we're always in a constant state of learning, and it was great to learn from them. Today's pitch, really cool, some really good constructive feedback. Sometimes you get a few judges or people that are listening to your pitch that pussyfoot around their critique, and I liked that you guys just kept it real. So appreciate that. It's always welcome, and it's good constructive criticism. So thank you, appreciate it.
Terence, absolute pleasure, and certainly look forward to continued discussion. If we could, we can move on to Fee Plaza, please.
Venkatesh is not here.
Venkatesh is gone. Okay, Hanko, please.
Yes, Peter. Thank you for letting us in this event, so to speak. Unfortunately, I could not attend most of the presentations. I simply underestimated, I think, the amount of time I have to invest in my startup every day when signing up for this. But all the events I participated in, I really enjoyed, and I think there was much content delivered, and especially today, thanks to the panel for the feedback, for the open feedback, and very constructive. I have not experienced it like this before. So Peter, especially your summary email every night was very valuable for me, and that you upload the videos to YouTube is also very helpful to revisit all the content in the future. Thank you.
Pleasure, Felix. Thank you very much as well. And Yellow May, is Yossi still there? I can't see him.
I'm here.
Oh, you are. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank you for the program. I think for me as well, it was a bit of a challenge to fit it into my time calendar of being currently actually in Finland, of not sitting in Germany due to our situation. So it took me kind of in the middle of the day already, so to be there. But otherwise, I really, for me, the development idea that comes there is actually to not, I know that it's more complicated to hold it, but it could be slightly longer and then with shorter periods of kind of presentations in the end of the day, so that you kind of can fit that 1 hour slot onto your day if it comes suddenly. But when it comes on a week's notice for 2.5 hours, that's a struggle a bit, especially at least to join into the live ones, because I really enjoyed when I was live there on seeing the presentation. And for today's pitch, I think it's really, well, that's the valuable information that I definitely got, is actually to how to be able to show kind of the future process or the progress that we can already see from the research happening. So kind of that, okay, what is happening there, and kind of what is the mindset of that? How do we show that, okay, how are we different? So this is kind of definitely, I think, the biggest feedback that I got from it. Otherwise, on bigger pitches, I think we cover a lot of the stuff, but I think that's something that we need to show even better in the future, to be kind of there, what is there different. So thank you for the evaluators there, definitely, so that to get that out in the open. I think because in the end of the day, we believe that price is actually not the purpose of an insurance product to be changed in the future. Okay, so, but thank you for the program. Thanks.
Cheers, Yossi. And last but not least, Hassan.
Hi, Peter. Yeah. So for me, sort of the whole program, and I've commented this before as well, I think really superb. For me, it was very much a business development sort of journey with mentoring, industry insights all combined. I think you guys did a really superb job pulling it all together. Again, I couldn't make it to all the sessions, but at the end of the day, summary videos uploaded, really superb. So thank you very much. And I've got to say, Francois, you did just splendidly, because what we do is quite big and broad, and we've managed to secure a good chunk of customers. And the way you draw that analogy to Cisco, I used to work for BT Global Services, and I suppose that's where the hard wirings come from. It is infrastructure for me, and it's the in-house infrastructure versus various external infrastructures. So Francois, you did superb. I'm going to have to get you on video again, get you to record that, and I'm going to use that video for all my go-to-market pitches. So thanks, Francois. Thanks, Peter.
Real pleasure. Right, just before we go,
one thing, sorry, thanks to Calypso and Claudio and everybody, you guys all in the background, it's superb. Thank you.
Thank you, Hassan. You've taken the words out of my mouth. I wanted to thank the Newfound team. Did an amazing job, each and every single one of them. Obviously Calypso, as you mentioned, and Julian, Harry, Neil, Claudio, and our friends down in Australia. So obviously the 3 programs have been really quite interesting in terms of driving us forward. And listen, I want to thank you, the Trailblazers, to go on the very first Market Mission program. It's been a lot of learnings for us. We'll come back and obviously ask for your kind feedback even further, because we want to make sure that Mission 2 is even better and stronger and more, I suppose, digestible to many of you, because we know that as founders, etc., time is the biggest enemy, and of course, doing so much online is not easy either. And I think when we sort of envisaged this 6 months ago, we probably didn't realize the world will be what it is today, but that's life. So thank you very much for attending today. Thank you for the attendees in the background listening through, and hopefully if there's any of the companies that are interesting to you, just let us know through the form. And this is not the end of Market Missions. This is the beginning of your journey in the UK. So I look forward to keeping in touch and speaking with you all very soon. Thank you very much, and goodbye.